Have you ever found yourself going down a rabbit hole, watching three different channelers talk about the same topic, and they each say something completely different? Or you've read four different news stories about the same event, and they all seem to contradict each other? Or maybe you follow a prophet or a spiritual teacher whose predictions don't always land the way that they said that they would. If you've felt confused, unmoored, or just like you don't know who to believe anymore, I want you to take a breath with me right now, because what I'm about to share with you today might be the most important spiritual skill that you can develop in this lifetime, especially right now in this moment in history that we're living in. And that's called discernment. And it lives inside of you. I'm Alicia, and welcome to Self Love First, where we explore consciousness, spiritual ascension, and heart-centered living. Today, we're going deep on something that I feel called to speak about, and that's how to navigate the absolute tsunami of information, prophecy, AI content, spiritual channeling, and conflicting narratives that we are all swimming in right now. And more importantly, how to come home to yourself as the final sovereign authority on your own truth. Without further ado, let's dive in. Please take a second to hit the like button. It's a free and easy way to support my channel, and it helps push this information out to more and more people. I appreciate you. Thank you. We are living in what we can call the Great Information Age. And it's unlike anything humanity has ever experienced before. Just think about this for a moment. A generation ago, if you wanted spiritual guidance, you might go to your church, a local teacher, maybe read a book. The sources were limited. And now you have access to thousands of channels, thousands of podcasters, dozens of channelers who claim to communicate with the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, ascended masters, or their angels. You have remote viewers who claim to see future timelines. You have prophets across every tradition saying that something is coming. You have the news sources, mainstream and alternative, painting completely different pictures of the same reality. And then, if that's not enough, layered on top of all of that, we now have AI. AI generated videos, AI generated images that look completely real, AI generated articles and social media posts, voices and faces that don't belong to real people, entire narratives constructed by algorithms. Here's what we all need to sit with. It has never been more important or more difficult to know what's true. And here's what I truly believe from the depths of my soul. The reason this is all happening is not to make us more dependent on external authority. It's to call us back to ourselves. This is a discernment initiation. Humanity is being asked, perhaps more urgently than ever before, can you trust yourself? Can you go within? Can you let your own soul be your compass? I want to share something personal. I do follow a few channels, channelers and remote viewers that I deeply respect. And I have noticed that they don't always agree. Sometimes they're saying really different things about the same topic, the same timeline, the same event or person. Early on, that would have made me anxious. Well, who's right? What is actually true? But over time and inner work, I realized something. I could listen to all three, let each one land in my body, and then, quietly, with my hand on my heart, ask my own soul, which resonates true for me? And each time, something would settle, and not because I found the right answer, but because I stopped outsourcing my truth. That's what today is about. Discernment is one of those words that gets used a lot in spiritual circles. But I want to make it real and practical today. Discernment is the ability to distinguish, to sense the difference between what is true for you and what is just simply information passing through your field. It's not about judging others. It's not about deciding who was right or who was wrong. It's about developing such a deep relationship with your own inner knowing that you can run anything, any piece of information, any teaching, any news story through your own internal filter and receive your own answer. Your soul knows things that your mind doesn't. Your heart has an intelligence that your analytical brain can't access alone. And here's why most people don't use this gift, even though it's everyone's birthright. We've been conditioned to look outside of ourselves for truth, for everything. From childhood, we're taught that truth comes from authority figures, teachers, parents, doctors, the news, the church, the government. We learn very early that our own inner knowing is less reliable than what someone outside of us says. And so when we enter the spiritual world, we often fall into this trap to swap one set of authorities for another. Instead of cable news stations, we have our favorite channelers. Instead of government officials, we have prophets and podcasters. Instead of a doctor, we have wellness influencers. I'm not saying that those sources are wrong. I'm saying that no source, no matter how gifted, no matter how attuned or well-intended, can replace your direct connection to your own soul and your own source. We're living in a time of sovereignty reclamation. remembering that your own sovereign authority is the only one that you need. There's also something I want to name about the human nervous system. When we are in stress or in fear, when we feel uncertain about the world, about the future, about what's coming, our brains want certainty. It wants someone to tell us what's true. And in that state, we become more susceptible to handing our power away. We follow whoever sounds the most confident, whoever has the biggest following, whoever speaks with the most authority. This is where discernment becomes a spiritual and neurological practice, which is why I love weaving in what I know about the brain through the MAP method. Because when we clear the unconscious fear and all that conditioning that makes us reach outside of ourselves for truth, we naturally return to our own inner authority. I'd like to discuss some signs that your inner discernment muscle might need some strengthening. Again, this isn't judgment. I have been every single one of these different points in my own journey. You might be outsourcing your truth if you feel anxious or destabilized every time two teachers that you trust say something different. You find yourself scrolling for hours, looking for the right answer to a spiritual question. You feel afraid to disagree with someone who has more followers or more credentials than you. You take someone else's prediction as absolute and start making decisions based on that. You feel like you need to know what the channelers or remote viewers are saying before you feel okay. You feel kind of a spiritual whiplash, up and down, based on the latest prophecy or prediction. Does that sound familiar? You're not alone. I actually had to develop the habit of turning anything off that was not landing peacefully in my body, even if it's a channel that I'm subscribed to or following. You can like someone's content and channel without having to agree with every single thing. The invitation here is to notice, gently and without shame, where you might be reaching outside of yourself for a sense of certainty or safety that actually lives within you. Because the truth is, your soul is never confused. Your mind is confused. Your nervous system can be dysregulated. But your soul, your deep inner self, always knows. The work is learning to access that knowing and trust it. And it uses bodily sensations and feelings to communicate with you. So if you're listening to something that is making your body tense up or feel fearful feelings, don't keep watching and giving intensity to something that you don't care for. This is where we get caught into the how. How do we actually develop discernment? How do you go within and ask your soul what's true? First, have a heart check-in. Before you consume something, content primarily, before you watch a video, read an article, or listen to a podcast, take 3 conscious breaths and bring your awareness into your heart center, just for a moment. You're not analyzing, you're just dropping in. Then, as you receive the information, take notice. Does this open something up in me, or is it contracting something? This isn't about whether the information is pleasant or unpleasant. Difficult truths can feel expansive and clear. Fear-based narratives can feel contracting and heavy, even when they're delivered with confidence. Your body is a truth barometer. Learn to read it. Use the take what resonates protocol. This is a practice that I use personally when I'm listening to multiple different sources that don't fully align. I call it taking what resonates and releasing the rest, but with intention. After consuming a piece of content, sit quietly and ask yourself, what in that message felt like a yes in my body? What felt like a maybe? What felt like a no? You don't have to accept or reject a teacher wholesale. You can receive part of someone's message as true for you and just set the rest aside. This isn't cherry picking to avoid uncomfortable truths. It's learning how to be an active, sovereign participant in your own spiritual education, rather than just a passive consumer. You can use the soul question practice. When I'm genuinely uncertain, when I've heard multiple perspectives and I still don't know what to believe, I go into stillness and I ask my soul directly. Find a quiet space. Place your hand on your heart. Take a few grounding breaths. Then, as simply and sincerely as you can, ask, soul, what do I believe to be true about this? And then just wait. Don't force. Don't analyze. Just notice what arises. An image, a feeling, a word, a sense of clarity or peace. Your soul communicates with you in quiet ways. It rarely shouts. It often whispers. But the more you practice listening, the louder that whisper becomes. Of course, I like clearing out the blocks to inner knowing with the MAP method, obviously. Here, I want to speak to something that I see constantly in my work. Often the reason people struggle to trust their own discernment is not a lack of intuition. It's unconscious beliefs that are blocking access to that intuition. Beliefs like, I'm not wise enough. I need someone more advanced than me to tell me the truth. My inner voice has been wrong before. I can't trust myself. These beliefs live below the surface. They're installed in childhood through cultural conditioning, through religious wounding, through experiences where we trusted ourselves and were told that we were wrong. The MAP method works directly with the brain's window of reconsolidation to neutralize these blocks down at the root. When we clear the belief system that says my inner knowing isn't reliable, something really wonderful opens up. You don't have to try to trust yourself. You just do. Because the thing that was in the way is now gone. I'm most passionate about that work because it doesn't just give you a practice for discernment. It removes what was preventing you from being discerning in the first place, if that makes sense. Grounding before and after is important for sure. I'd like to say a word about the importance of being in your body when you're navigating any information. The more grounded and present you are, the clearer your discernment will be for sure. The more dysregulated or ungrounded you are, the more susceptible you are to being swept up in this fear-based content, sensational predictions, and just external noise. My own daily practice includes time barefoot on the earth, conscious breathing, and what I call morning heart centering, dropping into my heart before my mind starts its chatter for the day. These practices, they're not decorative. They're foundationally clear discernment. I want to be clear about something else. I am not here to dismiss the gifts of channelers, remote viewers, prophets, or spiritual teachers. Many of them are genuinely gifted. I believe that. Many carry real light and real transmission. What I'm saying is this. Even the most gifted soul is receiving information through the filter of their own consciousness, their beliefs, their emotional state, their current level of evolution. Information from higher realms isn't immune to human distortion. And more than that, information that is true on one timeline or for one collective may not be the version of truth that is most aligned with your specific path. Two remote viewers can look at the same event and see different aspects of it. Not because one is lying, but because they are accessing different frequencies, different timelines, or just different facets of a complex, multi-dimensional reality. This isn't a reason to distrust them. It's a reason to hold their gifts alongside your own inner knowing. Not with authority above, your own, but when I listen to three different sources and they don't fully agree, I now feel kind of a quiet excitement because I know that the synthesis, the my truth that emerges from holding all three perspectives through the lens of my own soul, that's where I grow. That's where I become more of who I am, not by outsourcing my conclusions, but by using every source as a tuning fork for my own inner resonance. You're not meant to be a passive receiver of everyone else's truth. You are a sovereign spiritual being with direct access to the field of infinite knowing. You came here with an inner compass that is more finely calibrated than any algorithm, any technology, any AI, or any external source. I also want to add that I am not an AI naysayer. It's here, and like anything else, it can be used for great purposes or not so nice purposes. So, when you're going to use AI, approach it with respect and a loving heart, because that intention will contribute to the positive technology timeline where we use it as a tool to help us rather than giving it any negative energy. The world needs us to develop our discernment right now, not so that you can become isolated in your own bubble, but so that as you receive information from every direction, that you can integrate it through the wisdom of your own soul and contribute your own unique frequency of truth out to the collective. Go within. Take what resonates, release what doesn't. Ask your soul what it knows, and then trust the answer. I would love to hear from you in the comments when you're navigating conflicting information, whether it's news, spiritual content, prophecy. What helps you come back to your own inner truth? Please share below. Your wisdom is just as valuable as anything that you'll find in any comment section anywhere else. I have links to my website where you can download my free Dream Life Manifestation Journal, my Embodied Manifestation Online Toolkit course, or to schedule a one-on-one map session with me. If this video served you, please like it and share it with someone who you think is feeling overwhelmed right now by all the noise. And subscribe if you haven't. I'm here every Wednesday bringing you more content designed to support your awakening and your return to yourself. Until next time, as always, self-love first, always. Hand on your heart. Your soul knows. Trust it. My friends, have an absolutely beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.